Hey, how are you? This is Peter. It's video number 3, and it's the second for talking about my diagnosis. And I just got back from a walk. I try to walk most days of the week. I enjoy it. It's a therapeutic time for me, time of prayer and listening to music and contemplation and all those things that are healthy for me to do. And it's nice to do it on a walk, especially such a beautiful day as this. The last video I left at a point where I was hearing about what the urologist would have to do to diagnose this cancer further. Would be to scope me, cystoscopy, go in and look at it. And I remember that day that I went in. It was a local urologist here, the best one around these parts. And I remember going to that appointment thinking, what the heck is going to happen here? What's it going to feel like? And lying down on really a cold metal table in a very sterile environment, and not much in the way of like Novocaine kind of numbing pain meds. I think there might have been something topical done, but having him insert the scope, where, and to just sort of be like, what is happening right now, and praying, Lord, help me, and I don't understand this. Again, just to remind you, my mom was, who I was very close to, youngest of 4 children. I am, and she was in the last stages of ovarian cancer. So I had that angst and that fear going, and what's going to happen. And he went in, and there was a nurse there with him, and he came out. He pulled it out. I didn't look at the screen, but he basically turned and he said, "You have nodules in there." And I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" And he said, "It's cancer." I remember him turning to leave the room, and I grabbed his white coat, and I was just like, "What do you mean, cancer?" He said, "Oh, these are. I'll have to go in and scrape them, but these are almost always cancer." So that was my first time to find out that the C word might actually be applied to my life. And this was something that I had feared for years. I think even growing up, I had a fear of hospitals, sickness, death, especially like a situation that involves an illness like cancer, and then having watched my mom for 2 years outlive her prognosis, but getting closer and closer to death, I was just floored and stunned, really in some sort of a shock that this could be happening to me, but not having the full picture yet. I didn't know what it meant. Would it be easy? Would it be hard? What type of a cancer diagnosis does this mean? Maybe it's not cancer. So I wouldn't find out, I wouldn't get the prognosis, the diagnosis, until a few weeks later when I was admitted as an outpatient patient and went through a procedure where they go, and it's called a TURB, transurethral resection of the bladder, and they go in and they scrape those nodules out, because what they're doing is they want to stage and grade the cancer. What stage is it in, and what grade is it? Low grade to high grade. The stages of bladder cancer are like, superficial T1, T2. It's more into the second stage is a little bit more into the wall of the bladder, which is comprised of like an inner wall, then muscle layer, outer area. And so stage 3 is it's bursted out of the bladder itself and has invaded the local area, regional area. Stage 4 is the lymph system picked it up, and it's deposited in the brain, the liver, the lungs, wherever, but it has traveled. And of course, that's depending on the grade, that's really less than a 5% survival rate if it's traveled that far. But I didn't do any research on this. I didn't know anything. I was just hearing cancer. And so how'd that make me feel? It was a crisis. I had to deal with a lot of fear. I kept putting off that fear. I didn't know how to process it. I was 43 and really busy and thinking, I feel really poorly in my health, but this is not something that I expected at all. It's just, how it is. I don't know about how you found out about your cancer, if you don't have cancer, about that earthquake event in your life or a wall where one day you think this and the next day you're in a different space. And how do you process things in that new space? So, was I a cancer patient yet? Probably, but not there yet. So I'll talk again another time of actually being having an outpatient procedure and being inpatient for about 3 days because of the bleeding, and then the real diagnosis when they got the pathology back, when they took the tumor out and they actually looked at it microscopically and decided what I was dealing with. So anyway, and as you know, I have a relationship with my higher powers, Jesus. I call myself a Christ follower because there's so much baggage today associated with with Christians and everything. So of course I'm as gracious as I can with everyone of any faith. Really, it doesn't matter to me. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm at a beautiful day today, and I hope that you are having a blessed day.